I'm a char and I'm proud of it too, and that's that. Though charing's a thing that I hate, still I've had to turn to and do something, you know, since my poor husband lost his estate. Still I do earn my bread, that's more than some of them do. Now there's that Mrs. Moggridge next door. She's always a casting aspersions at me. She never works, yet she never seems poor. She ought to talk the bold as is she ought. Fancy her telling me that I'm past. I know I'm attractive and could carry on, but thank heavens I've got a clean past. If anyone else in our street owes their rent, the landlord ejects them by force. Though she owes weeks on end, he still calls her dear friend. See what I mean? Why, of course. She ought to talk, she ought. The ignorant hussy. Now, this will give you an example of the sort of woman she is. I had a bit of a party the other day, being my birthday, and not wishing to be catty, I invited Mrs. Moggridge with the others, and during the afternoon, I missed one of my spoons. Not the apostles, one of the ordinary ones. And wishing to be diplomatic, I waited till the guests were leaving, and I called Mrs. Moggridge up. I said, Mrs. M, one moment, dear. I said, I think one of my spoons have dropped into your vanity bag. She says, oh dear, no. I said, oh dear, yes. And with that I drew it forth. She says, that's not one of yours. I said, oh, it is. She says, oh, it isn't. I said, what do you mean? She says, why, look, there's Lyons's corner house stamped right across the back of it. Oh, I say, Mrs. Moggridge, I say, if you haven't been to Lyons's corner house, I have. Oh, I hate dishonesty. And you know, that's not the worst. She's starting to get personal now. Commencing to talk and argue about the husbands I've had. What's it got to do with her, how many husbands I've had? I know for a fact she's had 4 of them. Yes, and I do know this, that her cooking lessons at the Mother's Health exhibition has accounted for 3 of the poor fellas. The one she's got now is only living a living death. Nice little fella he is. Well educated, I know he granulated at Oxton. Poor little chap, there he is walking around with the sword of Damocles hanging over his head. A couple more of her toad and the owls, and he'll be playing the harp with the others. So she ought to talk the bold as she ought. The aspersion she makes the old cat. I know she's had her husband all fully insured. Trust her, she took good care of that. I've noticed her present one don't look too well. I suppose we'll be mourning his loss. 'Cause a few weeks ago, she insured him, you know. See what I mean? Why, of course.